Good day people, my name is Nick. Time to look at a bit of pinballing, our first one on the Commodore 64. This game is David's Midnight Magic, published by Broderbund in 1983. Came out I think on the Apple II and Atari systems a year before. It's for 1 to 4 players and the instructions say here it bodes arcade pinball. Well, we'll be the judge of that. Looks like there's 2 flippers at the bottom and some flippers up the top there. Apparently this is based on the table, the real life table Black Knight by Williams in 1980. Well, I can sort of see it if you regard the top bit as a sort of like an upper playfield, I suppose. And it's got those sort of like gates about midway through. Oh, ball feels a little bit slippery. Now, if we get the ball round there, which we just missed, the ball does lock to hopefully activate a multi-ball. Well, it did on the Black Knight anyway. Oh dear, that's bad. So we've got a few balls here, and we've got nudge feature and magna saves. But let's just keep the ball in play as much as we can. Looks like we haven't got too much of the viewing field to play with because we are well zoomed out. Normally, from 8-bit games I played before, it wouldn't show you quite as much as the table as this. They tried to pack a lot in. But the down shot of this is that you've got to react pretty quick because this ball is moving quite fast. The ball physics don't seem quite too bad, I should say. But you have to react with the flippers quite early or you're going to lose it. So look at the things you've got to aim for. Nothing flashing, which I wouldn't expect on an 8-bit system. You get most of the points by being in the upper playfield, so try and keep it up there as much as you can. It's always a bit safer there. Pop bumper up the top. That strange snaky like thing there as well on the top left. Get the ball there for ball lock. Whoops. Yeah, not much sound coming from this at all. Only when it hits the pop bumper and falls out of place sometimes. You can get multipliers and bonus to increase your scores. If you see my scores there on the left, 6850. So I don't know who David was, but this is some Midnight Magic. You don't have to play it just at midnight. You can play it at any time you wish. So as pinball games go, I find it slightly annoying because of the the distance we're sitting away from the table. But I can't argue with the ball physics there. They've tried to base it on a real life table, and I can sort of like see the resemblance, although it's a long way away. But it's sort of. We have reviewed Black Knight, the real life recreation by Farsight Studios on the PlayStation 3 as part of the Pinball Arcade. So if you want to have a look to see how those two compare, have a look at that review. It was quite a while ago. There was an update of the Black Knight table called Black Knight 2000 also, which we've also reviewed. I would rather play those than this, to be honest with you. But, you know, 1983, if you had a Commodore 64 and wanted a pinball game, this is probably one of the best ones you can get, I'd imagine. If you know any other good pinball games or bad pinball games on Commodore 64, let me know and we might come to them. If you want to see any other pinball tables that we've reviewed on any system, then check out the pinball playlist that's there. Quite a few, probably edging towards about 200 reviews there, so if you're a pinball nut, there's quite a lot there to keep you going. Most of them will seem to be on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. There's a few Spectrum ones, a couple of Game Boy Advance ones, and now one Commodore 64 one, which is here. Boom. Do you remember that Space Cadet that was on the PC that come free? That was quite a good game, and Minesweeper 2. There's not much to this table really. I'd like to see it scroll around a bit, but nice to have it multiple flippers. They've gone traditional. Running out of things to say about this already. Readily, is that a word? Ready, let's try. There are buttons where you can activate the magna saves, which stops the ball from draining each side once you've done sufficient things to activate that. The ball launch, you can just determine how strong it fires it by hitting F5 and F7 to either weaken or strengthen the distance of the plunger, which I'll try and show you. But yeah, blink and you lose the ball here. Very fast ball work as here. All the Spectrum versions I've played of pinball games, the ball moves a lot slower than this. So it's probably the quickest moving pinball on 8-bit systems that I have seen from my faltering memory. Blip, diblib. So it gives you the bare minimum of sound here. But it is doing a lot for 64K, I'll give it that. Did you have this one back in the day? Let me know. Or did you have any better Commodore 64 pinball games? I'm not sure if this is one of the best ones or the worst ones, but the ball physics are good. I'm not a fan though overall. Whoops, see, look at that. You can nudge the table, it says here, by hitting spacebar. I'm doing that, but it doesn't seem to be nudging it too much. If you nudge it too much, then the table tilts. So let's have another go. Boof. It doesn't seem to save your high score either. Starts from 0 again, so that's a shame. I'd like to see a high score table, because look at that, the ball's bouncing around as if it's radioactive, even when you keep it still. I'd like to see, as I say, I'd like to see a high score, because with pinball, it's all about trying to beat your high score there for next time. I don't know why that ball's just not stopping dead. Very strange. But it's often good in pinball just to hold the ball up, get your breath back and try and aim it in the direction you want. You don't have to go hell for leather straight away. Do take breathers, and that's the secret to getting the higher scores. I can't remember what score I got before. Can you? Maybe I should rewind the video. Boop. Right, look out for ×2 bonuses and ×4 bonuses. I think we have to hit the gates in the lower table like that a few times to activate these. There we go, ×2 times it says there. We want to get that up to 4, then 8, then 16. So we've actually done something. Hooray! Oh, next ball's drained. The ball's drained like a big hoodlum. Bib bob bab bob bob. At time of recording, we are gradually going through Season 7 of the Pinball Arcade on the PlayStation 4. So if you're a pinball fan, keep an eye on those. They're recreations of real-life tables. If you don't own a PlayStation 4, if you own a PC or Xbox One, they look virtually the same. I couldn't tell the difference between each three. So if you're thinking about should you buy a table or not, or buy a pack, they're a good indication to watch those. Quite often when I play, it's my first or second go, and I am sometimes I activate stuff, sometimes I don't. You'll also see Pinball FX3 on the PlayStation 4 as well. Same thing again, available on Steam and Xbox One. Boof. Billidib. Right. No! Should have nudged the table there. To be successful at pinball, it's all about nudging it, learning the rules of the table too. I don't think there's too many modes here rather than getting the multipliers like the ×2, the ×4, and also multi-ball. Now I presume there's multi-ball at the top there. I think Black Knight had multi-ball by locking the balls around at the top left. Be interested to see the ball moving at this speed with multiple balls. There we go. Is that a bomb villain? 6? What's that 6 for? Radioactive. Dearie me. Yeah, you can't give this. You can't rest up a second here. You can't give this ball any chance because it will just drain immediately. You got to have quick reactions on this thing. Oh, look at that! Curses blast. Such an annoying game, as pinball tends to be. I've said it before, sometimes you just get in the groove with a pinball table and you've got one ball in play for ages and you think maybe I've entered the zone, and other times the ball just keeps draining, keep losing it, and you seem to have no luck at all. I don't know if it's random or you've got special powers with you one day, but it will just bite you in the bottom if you don't pay it enough respect. So commentating and playing at the same time probably is not the best strategy for high scores, but at least we get an idea of what it's about. And you can decide on this whether you want to track it down or not track it down or not bother. 8-bit pinball's always a little bit up against it with the memory available to try and create a realistic pinball table, but they haven't done too badly here. I don't think they could have done much better with the memory they had available. They've kept it simple, and simple has worked. But it's just impressive the speed that the ball moves around. It's predictable as well, it's just that it's quite tricky. It's so tricky. ×2. Oh, was that it? Yeah, you can select the amount of players you want as well. Let's have just one more crack at this thing. Whoops. Let's just. Oh man, I think I'm losing out of special energy here. I need a boost. I need a coffee. Boop. Flip. No skill shot where you launch the ball. It hasn't programmed that. Oh, I saw that coming a while off. So this was in 1983. Black Knight, which is supposed to be loosely based on 3 years before 1980, was quite a popular table. Black Knight, one of the classics, one has to say. And it's one of those tables that you won't be able to buy through the Farsight Studios in a while because they're not renewing the licenses. So if you want it, get it quick before the 30th of June. Hopefully you listen to this before the 30th of June 2018, I should say. So we haven't got too much time. I expect the licenses are too expensive. Bally and Williams, they're losing, which is a big crying shame. Well, that's it again. Well, hope you liked having a look at that one. That was David's Midnight Magic, pinball game on the Commodore 64, published by Broderbund in 1983 and based loosely on the real-life table by Black Knight by Williams in 1980. If you've got any comments about that one, any thoughts or any similar ideas or memories, then put those below. If you'd like to help the channel grow, lend your support. Really helps by subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to help it that little bit more, there's patreon.com/njenkin. Every little bit really does help. Until next time, take great care of yourself and are very fond. Goodbye.
Goodbye.